Well, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream. It's called Be the Boss of Your Money, and I am so glad you're here to join me. We've got something very special to talk about, something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I truly enjoy and I use many, many times a day, throughout the day, every day. And that something is called LinkedIn. It is by far and away my favorite social media platform. And if you're friends with me personally, you know how much I enjoy Facebook. Well, let me tell you something. I enjoy LinkedIn even more. And there's a number of reasons why I enjoy LinkedIn so much. But the main reason is because of the incredible relationships that I've been able to develop over time. Not because I tried to develop these relationships. It's just that they developed over time naturally, just like any other relationship that I've been able to develop over the years through my in-person networking activities. And that's what LinkedIn really is. It's just a 24-hour networking event, and it's terrific, and you can hop in, hop off anytime you want and speak with people. And I think it's just a fabulous place to be. Fabulous. So I want to talk to you a little bit about LinkedIn. I want to specifically speak to you about why I think it is so important for business. I think you already know that it's important for business. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this, right? But I want to make sure you're using it correctly. Look, like everything else, there are right ways to do things. There are wrong ways to do things. And I want to show you some tips, some tricks, some things that I do on LinkedIn that I enjoy doing every day and on this platform, and that maybe could save you some time and trial and error and may help you just enjoy the platform even more. So I'm going to roll a very quick intro, and then we are going to get very, very heavy into LinkedIn. We're going to skip the usual market updates because I really just want to spend all of our time together focusing on how you could become better at LinkedIn and earn yourself your share of success on this great platform. So here goes. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. If you are just tuning in, I'm Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream called Be the Boss of Your Money. It's the place that you come to talk about personal finance, investing tips, business strategy, and part of that, especially in business strategy, is to be really good, really proficient with LinkedIn. LinkedIn to me is the best platform there is, bar none. It's a fast-growing platform, and it's a community of business professionals. And it is also, I have to say, I think a smart place to go. You spend an hour on LinkedIn reading people's content, and you feel like you are just learning so much so fast that you don't want to turn off the platform. You don't want to leave it. So it's a great platform to be on. And I just want to start this episode here by doing a couple of things. First of all, I am not a LinkedIn teacher. I'm not a LinkedIn instructor. I'm not opening a social media agency, and I really have no interest in becoming a LinkedIn teacher at all. But I am a professional user. I am a power user of the platform, and I had to learn through a lot of trial and error. I've been on LinkedIn for many years, but I didn't really get active on the platform until a few years ago. And just however active I could be on the platform, I feel like every day it's just a little bit more active on it. So I'm enjoying it immensely, and I get a lot out of it. The question you're going to ask me is, but Mitch, do you get any business out of it? I actually think that's the wrong question to ask. The answer is yes, but it's not as direct as you would think. And if you're just in it for the business, for the quick score, LinkedIn is not for you, because people can spot people like that a mile away, just like real life networking. So the first thing we're going to do is I have a bunch of slides, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to take you through the steps of what you could do right now to get better at LinkedIn, to become proficient at it, and really so that you could not only use it, but enjoy it, because the best way to learn about this great platform is to use it. So I'll share with you the things that I know, the things that I did to get started, and hopefully it'll bring up some really good ideas for you to help you jumpstart or level up your LinkedIn experience. Okay. So here's the first slide that I want to show you. Okay. The first one is why LinkedIn. And oddly enough, the slide should look a lot better than that. Okay. Well, I would rather the slide be centered, and see if we could just blow this up a little bit. Okay. And you see that, right? Okay. This is getting a little annoying. Okay, here we go. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do with getting the slide into your screen. All right, finally, yes. Thank you for working. Okay, so we cut off that little part up top, why LinkedIn. But the important thing is this. The reason you should use LinkedIn, and if you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments. So don't be bashful. Hit me up with questions in the comments. So if you're watching this right now in the live stream, welcome. If you're watching this in the replay, I'd like to welcome you as well. And if you have any questions yourself, hit me up in the comments. I will see the questions and I will answer them as if we were doing this in the live stream together. Okay. And I see there are already a few comments, a few questions in the comments, so I will address those momentarily. So why LinkedIn? Build your brand. All right, that might sound like a very buzzwordish thing to say. Oh, build your brand. How many times do we have to hear that? But it's important. You all need a personal brand. You're not just the company that you need. So one of the reasons to get onto LinkedIn is to build your brand. The other reason is prospects need to get to know you today before they do business with you. It was always like that, but this is a way to really, what's the word I'm looking for? To scale it up. You can really scale up the getting to know you process with a lot of people at once because of LinkedIn. People are looking. There are lurkers out there. You see number 5 is over there, lurkers. People don't necessarily like or comment on your posts, but they do see them. I measure the views on my posts, and I get a heck of a lot more views than I do, the reactions, either the applause button or the celebration button or the heart or the thumbs up. But I do see that people consume my content. They watch my videos. They read my text posts. So they are definitely out there. People are looking. And what's important about that? Toma. You see number 4? This is the most important reason to use LinkedIn. Top of mind awareness. So that if a prospect of mine, who I might not even know is a prospect of mine, if they constantly see me out there, and I'm a financial advisor, so if they all of a sudden find themselves in a position of having to find a new financial advisor, or they want to switch to a new financial advisor, or they want to use a financial advisor for the first time, people typically will reach out to the first person who they think of. That's top of mind awareness. And the way to do that is to be out here on the platform every single day. And LinkedIn, it's just one place that people will see you. Now you see this little pie chart? Imagine the pink part is LinkedIn, and maybe the purple part is your in-person networking activities, which we haven't really been able to do since last March. But imagine the blue part down here, or is that blue-green? Okay. Imagine that's your website. And imagine maybe the yellow is your Facebook page, etc. So people have to see you sometimes in more than one place. So it's not necessarily that all you need to do is go on LinkedIn and all of your prospecting will be taken care of. That's not what I'm saying. We wish, right? But it's all part of the process. That LinkedIn is just another way to touch people, more touch points. The more touch points you have with your prospects, the more likely that they are going to reach out to you. Because in this day and age, we're not really in a world anymore, and it's been like this for decades. We're not in a world where you can, we're not in a world where you could reach out to somebody with your products and services. You really need people to reach out to you. People have to come to me. Attraction marketing, I think, is what it's called. And I think the minute you do reach out to somebody, it almost like spoils the relationship. So you put out value and people will come to you. But Toma, top of mind awareness, that's the real heavyweight reason to use LinkedIn. Okay, so let's take a look at another one of my slides. And I want to share with you, this is critical. This is called the social media triangle of success. Now, you could also call this, I guess, the LinkedIn triangle of success. Same thing. But let me show you what this is. You see the top of the triangle here? Post. 10%. 10% of your activity should be posting. I don't think any more than that. And 90% should be reacting and commenting. You know who I'm talking about when I ask you this. You ever see people, they're on LinkedIn and all they ever do is post. They post 4 or 5 times a day, but they never comment or like anybody else's posts. They're just out there shouting into the abyss. It's like going to an in-person networking event and just giving your business card to everybody that you see. No conversation, no handshake, no asking how are you. Just walk up to strangers and give them your business card. That's what people who post all the time are doing. What you should be doing mostly is reacting to other people's comments. You can give a thumbs up, you could give a heart, you could give support. There's a few reaction buttons. I'm hoping LinkedIn comes out with a laugh out loud or a smile button soon, but that'll be for another day. But 90% of what you do should be react and comment. So for every time you post something, you should have liked or commented on people's posts. And I think that if you're going to take the time to like somebody's post, take the time then, let me say this in a better way. If you're going to take the time to react to somebody's post, let's say you're going to give it a like, also then take the time to comment. I mean, you already saw the post, you read the post, just at least make a thoughtful comment. That really is the key to building relationships on LinkedIn. Get involved, become a part of the conversation, and comment. That to me is the real magic of LinkedIn relationship building. So that is a social media triangle of success. The next one I want to show you is I want to really give you a good one over here. What form should your content be in? A lot of people ask me this. Is coming up. Let's take a look and see who is out there. I know we've got a few people out there, and who we've got. Bill is out there. Hey, Bill. Hey, man. Hi, Mitch. Finally made it to a live one. Thank you very much. By the way, I saw your Facebook message earlier today, so that's great. Yes, no worries, my friend. You could always watch the replay, but it is always a special thing to see you in the live stream. So I always appreciate you being around. And yes, I sure realize that not everybody could make these things at 4:30 and drop everything. So I always appreciate you, Bill. Thank you very much. We have Jonathan out here, Jonathan P. Bednar, the second CFP, who is a friend of mine on LinkedIn. We met on LinkedIn, and Jonathan and I are friends now. And just because of LinkedIn, he says it is by far the best social platform out there. The connections I've made via LinkedIn have been incredible. So true. Jonathan and I are in this like amazing community of financial advisors, and we support each other, we build each other up, we share ideas. It's really incredible that we've built this up. And I think with this, we've talked about this. When this pandemic is over, we're all going to probably meet in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. It's central to all of us, and we are going to have a great time. We can finally get together. I see Dan is out there. Dan, thank you. John Tutt out there. Frank, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. So what form should your content be in? There are really an endless amount of ways that you could put content on to the platform. Okay. And I see you out there, John Robertson. There are a lot of things you could do. And there are text posts where you could just write in a sentence, a sentence about something, a paragraph, what have you. You could make it look better with, text with emojis and or a picture. I think just straight text is okay. I think it doesn't really catch your eye, and it's getting harder and harder to stand out in all aspects of media, social media included, because it's a crowded world. But you want to put some emojis. Like I said, I start my post off with a question. The first character will be a big red question mark, like the one that you see in your emojis on an iPhone. That's what I use. I'm sure the same thing is on a Droid phone. And, I like to put a picture in my posts as well. I just think it just makes it more catchy. A picture that would go well with the post. I'm not looking for necessarily a picture with shock value just to get an eyeball onto my text. It should go with the actual, the text, the meaning of the social media post. You could do a slideshow now on LinkedIn where you download documents, you download your content as documents, and there'll be a slideshow. I see a lot of that out there. I think those posts are okay. They do get some attraction. I don't think they do that great on the platform, but personally, I like to mix up my content. So I do some mostly text with emojis and a picture. And then the next thing I do is video. And video to me is where it's at. I could do a whole presentation just on creating video. And if you're interested in that, let me know. And I would love to do a live stream all about creating video. That would be a lot of fun actually for me, because like, for example, I'm doing a live stream right now, and I will take this live stream, chop it up into, 30-second to 4-minute clips. And I put them in a nice box with a title in the top and the captions in the bottom. And those become my social media posts for the next couple of days from each live stream that I do. But video, I think, is one of the best things that you could do on the platform. People get to see you, they get to see you in action, they get to know you. And then the other kind of content, which I think is really important, which we spoke about earlier, is the commenting. Whenever you comment on someone's social media, on LinkedIn, whenever you comment on someone's LinkedIn post, your whole network will see your comment, which is your content. And the person who posted that, the person whose post you're commenting on, their connections who liked or reacted to that post will also see your comments. And that's a great way to build relationships and attract people to you. And you'll start getting more invitations to connect, that sort of thing. We'll talk about connections in a moment. And last thing is curate. Curate is simply when you read an article, you maybe you read it in a business publication or a trade magazine, whatever, something you read online, and you think it's pretty good. It kind of hits you, and you're feeling it for that article. It just makes so much sense to you, and you want to share it. So share it on LinkedIn. Very easy to take the link and share it on LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn will make a nice little graphic, whatever picture is in the article. But before you click the share button, it goes out to your whole, your whole tribe, all of your connections. Write a few sentences. Just write a few sentences about why the article meant enough to you to share it. Put in a few sentences, a paragraph, it could be 2 paragraphs, however long you need to get your point across as to why the article made sense, what you got out of it, what other people could get out of it, for example, and then post it. And I'll tell you what, people will more likely read your little blurb than the actual article itself, but they'll get out of the article what you want them to get out of it because of your blurb that you put in there, of your thoughts. And I think people will see you as someone who is thoughtful, who is well-read maybe. And I just think that is a great way to go. Don't just share an article and send it out. I don't think anybody reads those. You actually have to comment on it. Why is it worth your time? I'm going to share an article. I'm going to write my blurb about it, or why I think it's valuable, and you'll see it. And maybe if you read my blurb and you say, and you'll see that here's why I got value out of it. And if that resonates with you, then you'll probably read the article. So it's important to not just share an article, but to actually put in your own thoughts, your own comments in the post before you hit the share button. So let's go to the next one. What else do we have here? Okay, we have content, what works. Okay, so let's talk about what works in social media. And I think this, I think this slide, content, what works, this definitely applies across all of your social media platforms. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on all of them. I'm on YouTube. By the way, if we're not connected on the other social media platforms, I'm out there. I'm on LinkedIn, of course. So connect with me if we're not already connected. But I can also be found on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And my channel on YouTube is called Client First Strategy. So you can look for me there as well. And I post all of my videos, short videos, long videos, all my lives are all there. And I have them in nice organized playlists as well. But content, what really works? Well, I'll tell you what kind of content works. And I want to take this and separate it for a second from what we were just talking about. I mean, you have video content, you have text content, you have the slideshow and pictures and all that. Those are forms of content. But what kind of content are people really interested? People are interested in shortcuts. I don't mean shortcuts like cutting corners in a bad way. I mean in a good way. People want to learn. People are looking for education in quick, snackable ways. They want to get in, they want to get out, they want to learn something. If it takes a 30-second video or a 10-minute video, hey, that's okay. Look, we could all argue very favorably that shorter videos work better on LinkedIn than longer videos, but people do want to get the value. So you can have a conversation with people. You could talk to people. You could make your video funny and sarcastic or your text, whatever. But make sure the value is in there. It's very easy to learn. People want a shortcut. You know, hey, I could take 3 hours or 5 hours or a week or months to learn something. But if you can teach it to me in a quick post and save me all that trial and error, man, oh man, that is the kind of content that we want, right? So that's what I mean by shortcuts. How to stuff, how to make things, how to do something, how to figure something out. How to content is great. That's perfect with the shortcuts. Learn from my mistake content is very good. So if you've made a mistake, be humble about it. And I know a lot of people don't like to advertise or show their past mistakes, but I think it's okay. It's just, we all make mistakes, and you can come out and say, hey, I did something, I tried it, it didn't work, but here's what I learned how to do it. Here's the right way to do it. I'm going to share it with you to save you the trial and error and show you exactly what you could do instead of making the same mistake that I made. People love that stuff, and it's value. You're giving value. Obviously, you want it to be pertaining to your field, so that when your future prospects see that post and when they see that content, they'll think of you when they have their own needs, and it's memorable. Okay. Now you could also explain something in the news in very simple terms. I do that a lot. That's actually one of the main things that I do with my LinkedIn live stream. Okay. I talk about stock market investing concepts, or if there's really big news in the economy, in the stock market, I talk about that and I break it down into very simple, easy ways for people to understand. I speak the financial market language every single day, but I want to step back and say, not everybody is speaking my language, but they can understand the concepts if I can at least speak in everyday terms, not in the industry lingo. So that is a great form of content for you to use. Okay, so let's move on and let's find the next one. And while we're out there, we have John out there, Johnny boy, John Robertson, and I finally made it back. Haha. Hey, it's always great to see you, buddy, and thank you very much for joining me. And I loved all the content you were doing leading up to Thanksgiving, and the special meals you were putting out there, the sexy salad, great stuff. Frank is out there. Yes, I'm going south to meet these awesome guys. Well, Frank, I kind of expected that you and I are going to share the ride and go together, because Frank is in this great community of financial advisors that I was just talking to you about. So, Frank, I look forward to that. Are we going to wear our Adidas tracksuits? I definitely think we all need to suit up and wear Adidas tracksuits. It's kind of an inside joke, but that'll be terrific. And here is John. I am going back on LinkedIn now. Good for you. Good for you. So let's take a look at another one. We're getting through this, and I want to make sure you are getting all the value out there. Okay. Let's take a look at this. It's the relationship, stupid, right? You remember that? It's the economy, stupid, when you had Clinton versus George H. Bush in the presidential election in 1992. Okay, well, I'm getting a little into the weeds here, a little back in time. So here's what I want to tell you. I can't stress this enough. It's all about the relationship. If you're just posting on LinkedIn because you think it's free advertising, you're wasting your time. LinkedIn is not about the free advertising. Like I said in the beginning, you see those people, they just post all the time. They don't share anything of value. They're just posting something about their company for a quote on something, call us. And they just post the same thing over and over and over. I mean, these people are annoying. They add no value to your feed. And it takes time to scroll through your feed. I've got, close to 5,000 connections. And I know many of you have more than that, but it takes time to get through your feed and to really soak it all in, right? So those people, you just want to disconnect from those people because they're just taking up space in your feed. And if they're not adding any value to your feed, get rid of them. Don't make this a quantity game in terms of how many connections you can have. Make it a quality game. You want people who contribute to your feed, something positive. And you want a relationship with these people. People who like and comment on your posts are golden. That is wonderful. They took their time out of their day to like and comment on your stuff. You should do it back. You're not obligated. Don't be transactional. I'm not saying like for like, post, comment for comment. Don't do that. Don't be like, oh, well, that person didn't like my last post, so I'm not going to like their post right now. Don't be like that. They'll get back to you eventually because what goes around comes around. Just be an active participant in your networking, just like a real networking event. You're not going to not go up to somebody because, you didn't have a chance to speak with them at the last event you were at. You want to make sure you touch base. Hello, how are you? And you just do it digitally. And the greatest thing is when you all of a sudden you're all having a conversation, you and your connections in the comments going back and forth. And these conversations could go on for like an hour. It's fun, but that's where the relationship is. That's where the magic happens. So don't spam. Also, here, this is very key. This drives people crazy. Don't spam. Like, how many times have you gotten a connection request from somebody and they put up a blurb? Hey, I see we have a number of connections comments, so I thought it would be really good to connect with you. And as soon as you click the accept connect button, you accept them in the connections, and within a minute, they're sending you a DM that says, hey, check out our lead generation system. Here's the link to my Calendly. Let's pick a time and I'll spend 15 minutes getting to know you. Meaning they'll spend 15 minutes asking you about things that are none of their business so that they can try to sell you something. We can't stand those. So there is no spamming in the DMs. There is none of that. Do not even DM somebody if you don't have a relationship with them in the comments first. And just because somebody likes and comments on your post, that doesn't mean you have a relationship. It means you're starting one. It doesn't mean you run to them right away and hit them with a DM about your business and all the great things you do, and they should give you 15 minutes of their time. That's rude. We all know it. We don't do that. And that's actually like the worst thing about social. It's the worst thing for sure about LinkedIn. So don't be transactional, no spammy DMs, and don't fear connecting with your competitors. And like right now, I wouldn't even say competitor. I mean, it's not really the right way. Nick Nielsen is a friend of mine. Mitchell, keep up the great work. Happy holidays, my friend. Thank you. And same to you, Nick. By the way, I love that picture. You posted the holiday picture with your kids, and you had your own little ornament from when you were a kid. You see, I look at these things. I love this. I love the personal touch that we're all putting on LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't just have to be business stuff. You could put a personal touch in it and show people that you're human as well. You have weekends, you have nights, you have activities, you have hobbies. Don't be afraid to post some of those things too once in a while. Mix it in, okay? And here he is, John. You've been in your COVID shell. John, you just haven't been in a COVID shell. You've been working your keister off. You had to pivot, change your business to an outdoor market, back to indoors. You've been busy, my friend, and let me tell you, you're terrific, and you've been out here probably a lot more than you think. So let's go on to the next slide. I want to just say this: don't join a pod. If you don't know what a pod means when you get together with, like, let's say 50 or 100 other people on LinkedIn, and you make this pod and you say, hey, whenever any of us post something on LinkedIn, I'll let you all know in a DM, to like a group DM, like a group email, a group, DM is direct message. And I'll let you know I posted something, and all of you run over there, give it a like, or or a heart or a celebration button, whatever, and a comment. And I'll do the same for you. And it will all look like we're drumming up all this activity, and we're really popular in social media. We must be someone special and important. I don't think that's legit. You could do it, and it's not a violation of and you could do it, and it's not a violation of LinkedIn's terms of engagement. But I think you look bad when you do it. I think it comes off phony, and I would rather get a couple of legitimate likes than a lot of transactions, because now you're obligated to like and comment on everybody else's stuff, and they're not even reading it. They're not even engaging in it. They're not even engaging with it. That is not building relationships. That is just stroking your ego because you want the vanity metrics, more likes and comments. This is great. But if they're not genuine, then who cares? We want genuine. We want authenticity. We want relationships. That's why I said advertising. Now, if you're here to advertise, then you, my friend, I turn off my email and that still pops up. If you're here to if you're here just because you think LinkedIn is some form of free advertising to just keep posting, you're making a mistake, and people will not click on your content. And then the algorithm of LinkedIn will put you into the penalty box, and you'll just have a deeper hole to climb out of if you ever decide that you want to get serious with LinkedIn and use it the right way. By the way, we have a few other friends out there. I see Kim is out there. Hey, Kim, great to see you out there. Thanks so much for joining us. Kim and I go way back when she used to live in Houston, and then a couple of years ago you became a Long Islander, and hope you still like being a Long Islander. Okay, and we've got to talk about the Financial Planning Association as well. So we'll follow up. Okay, so let's go on. Let's just take a look. We're almost done with the slides here. Connections. It's your duty to be a good one, to be a good connection. So when you send a connection request with somebody, it's very nice to send a note with it. I do find that it takes a long time. It's a little time consuming. So if I see somebody I want to connect with, I just send them a connection request. Most of the time when I send somebody a connection request, it's because I like their post and I look at their profile and their activity, and they come off to me as someone who I want to engage with. Their content would be worth my while to see it on my timeline. Okay, so I just send it out, and if they comment in mine or like my post, we're not connected, I will generally speaking, I'll almost always send them a connection request also. Make sure your profile is complete. We're almost done, folks. Make sure your profile is complete. When you go on your profile, either on your iPad or your iPhone, whatever, or on your desktop, you could add sections. Like when I look at somebody's LinkedIn profile and they don't have their activity section on it, it's like a waste, because when you send me a connection request, the first thing I do is I look at your activity to see if you're somebody who is either going to just take up space in my timeline and waste my time, or if you're actually contributing real value to the community. And I do consider LinkedIn a community that I value, and that I consider it like a privilege to be in my community. I love it. So make sure your profile is complete, so when people check you out, they could see who you are. I mean, what the heck is the point of being on LinkedIn if people can't actually see who you are? So you want your activity section to be in there, all of your educational history, your job history. And there's another reason why you want this stuff in there, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Okay. You could attract people by commenting, your thoughtful comments, interacting. You see people making a comment on a post that you also liked or commented on, and you thought their comment was thoughtful. You could reply to them in the comment section and say, hey, I thought that was a thoughtful post. But you don't have to say that exactly. You could respond to it and say, you could check this out, or I would take it in this direction, or I agree. You could do that too, because that's what a conversation does. And I know it sounds funny to a lot of people, but having conversations in the comment section on LinkedIn, That is where the magic happens. That's where the relationship building happens. It's just like standing 4 or 5 people standing at a in-person networking event, and someone says something, then someone says something, and then someone else says something, and someone contributes to the conversation. And before you know it, it's fun. You're having a conversation. And then it's okay to say, hey, let's exchange cards. Let's exchange our business information. And all of a sudden the relationship starts. And that does not mean that you get to, you know, call them up on the phone or send them a sales pitch in an email the next day, right? Just like we don't do that on LinkedIn. All right. And I'm going to share with you, we're going to save the tech tricks for last. We'll see how we can get to those. Okay. What else do we have here? Some bonus content. Be authentic. I know authenticity is just like it's like a big buzzword today, but it's true. Let people get to know you. Eventually, your customers and your prospects, your associates, your friends, obviously your friends, but people will get to know the real you. So don't be like fake it till you make it or any of that stuff. You really just want to be you. It's too hard to it's too hard to not be authentic. Remember, no one is youer than you. Okay. Is LinkedIn Premium? See, number 2 there, Premium. Is it worth it? I have LinkedIn Premium. It's like $200 and something a year. I like it because I get to see all the people who click on my profile. It does allow me to send in 15 DMs to strangers every month. I never use it. I don't really care for it. I would rather connect with somebody and then you get to know somebody through commenting on their posts, things like that. That would be a much better way to go with that. And it's a little extra credit also. There's extra credit for being funny or sarcastic, not sarcastic to the point where you're a bully or you're just a total annoying critic. But, if you could deliver your message in a way that is entertaining, that's funny, I see a lot of people LinkedIn using TikTok, for example. That spices up the profile, the timeline a little bit. It's fun. That is perfectly okay. Let's just take a look at the very last one. LinkedIn Live. I get a lot of questions about this because people want LinkedIn Live. And if you don't know this, a lot more people have LinkedIn Live than when I first got it. I first got LinkedIn Live almost a year and a half ago, but a lot more people have it now. You don't just get it. It doesn't come automatically with LinkedIn. And even if you have a premium paid account, it doesn't mean you have access to LinkedIn Live. You have to apply for LinkedIn Live. And one of the things that LinkedIn wants to see is that you post videos, not YouTube links, but actually post natively. When you download an MP4, let's say a 5-minute MP4 video directly onto the platform, that is what LinkedIn is looking for. They want to see you actively engaged on the platform. If you're hardly ever there and you think, well, if I have LinkedIn Live, I'll use it all the time. That they want to see you engaged to begin with before they give it to you. And if you've gone live on other platforms, or if you're posting video on other platforms, when you apply for LinkedIn Live, you could add that to your LinkedIn Live application. Say, I've gone live and made other videos. Here's my profile on Facebook. You could check me out there as well. That's what I did. And it actually helped me get LinkedIn Live because the first time I applied for it, like everybody else, I was rejected. I went back. I never heard anything. And all of a sudden I saw like a little red dot on my computer next to my LinkedIn feed. You now have access to LinkedIn Live. And if you don't use it, you could lose it. And I'm like, maybe I had it for 30 days. I don't know. I didn't even know how long it was there. So I just went nuts and I started going live and, the rest is history. And I love doing it. Okay. So I think that's about it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions about LinkedIn or other social media, you are certainly welcome to hit me up in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.